Thank you for joining the Bobber Testimonial. This is the podcast where we talk to our customers, Helium community members, and hotspot owners to hear their experience building the People's Network. I think many people know your Discord handle, Keith R, and many of them actually tune into your mobile rewards updates every single day in the Helium 5G CBRS channel. So how long have you been doing that?
Well, first, thank you for including me in this. It's an honor. The daily report I've been doing every single day of the Genesis rewards. I wanted at first, I just wanted to count my own performance. And as I was sort of building it for my own sort of use, I sort of concluded, you know what, everybody else is going to want to know this too. And we have a nice sort of sharing environment in the Discord server. So I said, you know what, I'll just put this out. If no one likes it, then they'll tell me and I'll stop doing it.
We love it.
But after I started building it for others to see rather than just myself, I wanted everybody to come from a shared perspective so that when we discuss or argued about the Genesis rewards, we'd all have the same sort of facts, so that I didn't want somebody going into hyperbole and saying, oh, I used to make millions and now I don't make any. And it's like, no, that's not true. It's been going down steadily, a couple hundred every day. And so I just did it and it's been cool. I like the response. It does also bring up the funny sort of social rewards of getting an emoji at the bottom of it, like how valuable that little thank you hand is, or the little bar graph, or the LFG 5G type. It's silly, but it's like, I appreciate the thanks that people are saying as a result of doing it.
Yeah, I think I started noticing, I don't even know, like, when did you start doing this? Like, was it like day one or something?
Yeah, it was day one. It was, as soon as it came out, I put it together and put it out. And I've added lines as I go along, estimating when something would happen, as people would ask sort of the same question. If I get 3 days of the same question, I'm like, well, then I should add that line to the counting. I keep all the data from every day and every wallet. And so it's easy for me to sort of go back and do the math if someone asks sort of a good number to ask for.
Yeah. Have you ever stopped in between? So that's like more than 2 months. It's like every single day in the past 2 months.
Yeah. I have not missed a day so far. I have been late.
Because you have a life.
Well, I try to. But even there's the other part where I get the thanks. I appreciate the thank yous that are getting from people, because I'll say, like, yesterday I was out of the tour of a Bitcoin mining warehouse, and I posted a couple hours early saying, hey folks, sorry, but I'm going to be 4 hours late because I'm out of town. And you get a thank you, or all right, hurry up, get back, what are you doing? My favorite sort of talking about me doing the report was when we had the big problems where they put in a new verifier of the heartbeats and the numbers went completely haywire, and someone had wrote, everybody started getting into a tizzy, and someone wrote, calm down, just wait till Keith does his report so that we can see the numbers. And I was like, that's awesome. People are like, I appreciate that. And again, I think it helps everyone come from the same space so that we can say, hey, you know what? We're doing an average of 99 radio units a day are being added. Like, how is this good or bad? Is we going up or down? And can sort of make those discussions and talk about where we're going and where we've been.
Yeah, I think because you keep doing this every single day, and like you said, you never miss a day, so you become a very credible source and also a very neutral voice. Whenever something good or something bad happens, you're there to literally calm everybody down. So of course, it's a very rewarding experience. Just in terms of the stats, because there are a lot of numbers you're turning out every single day, and there's a lot of very interesting data in your report. So over the last 2 months and a half, if you just look at the numbers every single day, I'm sure that you are sort of seeing a lot of changes and analysis. Like what are some of the biggest changes you're seeing and how you feel about them?
Well, I was in the beginning, I was actually quite impressed with how steady we as a collective were adding radios every single day. I mean, we were doing 130 radios, so divide by maybe so that's about 80 radios a day were being added. And then it was also kind of impressive because somebody asked, like, well, what are the 10 biggest doing? And you could see that the top 10 sort of portfolios were very consistently adding a whole lot. And so it was kind of, I mean, again, it was very impressive that we were sort of keeping it going. We've slowed down a fair amount. We're only doing 90 something a day now, 90 radio units.
It's still pretty impressive.
It's still pretty impressive, but I think what I'm concerned a little bit about the stagnation of, like, most of us are waiting. I mean, I know myself, I have 22 radios that I have on there and I want to put more out, but I think we've become a little unclear of where we are on the timeline. I think Nova needs to communicate so that we all know what we're supposed to be doing, so to speak.
With your 22 radios, do you have any plans what you're going to do with them and when you're going to start deploying
I
them?
do. So I have a commercial building. I have a friend who owns 14 of the same sort of type of commercial building. They have about 100 people that come in every day that are visitors and are there for a bunch of hours. I believe they will be on TikTok and watching videos. And so I have each of these buildings, I plan somewhere between 8 and 12 radios per building. I don't know how good. I'm hoping to get fewer, obviously, because it would be less expensive. But the walls and the choppiness of the commercial building lead to my concern that it won't make through, because these radios don't go through many walls, right? But testing in my house, I have tested off to the side of the radio through 5 walls of my house, one of which is my bonus room that has been insulated for sound. And I've been all the way outside my house, and my indoor radio actually performed pretty well outside. So I'm kind of excited. I think it may work out that I can only have to put 2 radios per floor. And in that case, they'll go as soon as we have a service to offer. Because again, that's what we're in the business. We're all doing, right? We're providing a service. 5G data offloading. It'll only be with Helium Mobile in the beginning, but obviously once this works out in the kinks and we know what we're doing and Nova proves that it works, and having a decentralized collective of people like ourselves and everybody else on Discord can work as a model.
So I guess the timeline is that as soon as there's more updates on POC and rewards on,
Yes, without a doubt.
it seems like the whole community and different parts of the community are all trying to take incremental baby steps, and all of these baby steps are proving to be pretty solid at this point. It's just that we also need to maybe let some people catch up if they only just started, and some of the people like you guys are probably already like an expert and you're really providing a lot of educational and help and guidance in Discord, and hopefully the next step we see is POC and rewards, and we can all properly deploy and set up everything. And when it comes to that, I think what kind of tips would you give to newcomers, say if they are still on the fence about 5G, or they're ready to start buying 5G miners and radios, but they just don't know where or how to deploy? Like you said, you have 14 locations in mind. How do you even get there? And what kind of tips can you give to somebody that also wants to find locations to set up properly?
Good question. I think unfortunately for 5G, it can't be the easy advice of buy a LoRaWAN hotspot, put it in your window, get the antenna outside, right? You can't just say that and like go for it and find a whole bunch of other people to do. 5G sort of requires sort of more of a business attitude. Like, I'm doing this as a business. I'm going to find all these locations and I'm going to provide this service, and I'm going to take care of the customer and the ultimately make sure that a good 5G signal is being provided. One of the things I'm going to go next week. I'm going to go stop at a laundromat that's over in a strip mall that I've seen and try to introduce myself to the manager and say, hey, I can provide a better service to your customers at no cost to you, and we'll both benefit as a result of this model. You have to step it up from a business perspective. You have to be comfortable introducing yourself to a stranger, the owner of the facility, the host, the potential host, and say, hey, I have this idea. I will provide this thing service for you that you'll benefit, your customer will benefit, won't cost, and we'll both benefit. It really is, they might not understand it. They're not going to say no, like you're a stupid idiot. Who would, I don't want to make any money, right? No, they might say that there's complications or they already have something or something. Right? You still will could get a no, but at least you have the conversation, and then that gets easier to cold talk to the next person, right?
Technically speaking, there's still 20 some days left for Momogenesis. It may or may not be extended, given given what announcement we're going to see next. Have you thought about by the time when Momogenesis actually ends? So I think that will be like a wrap of your daily reports. And are you going to be to do anything similar? Or I'm sure people are going to really missing you.
Well, good people like yourselves, Bobcat has their own calculator that's putting together. There's a couple folks who are doing nice write-ups of how many actual radios in each of the type. I have to use the generic radio unit because I'm only looking at the rewards pay transaction. I'm assuming that Genesis is going to be extended, or at least UBI, right? Universal Basic Income kind of approach. Because one would think if they don't, and there's nothing in between there, and when migration is to Solana is finished, there would be a problem. So I got to imagine it's going to be extended. We'll probably assume that it'll come from the foundation's pre-mine, so it'll probably stay the exact same 100 million a day. I think the emissions schedule, the normal one that we're supposed to go to, which is 180 and pays everybody pays out all of things, is probably not appropriate. So we'll see what happens. I did not expect that I would be still writing the report, because I thought the payments were going to be on every epoch. So every 30 minutes, I thought it was going to go out like we do with the LoRaWAN. As long as it's only done once a day, I can generate and provide the things. So really, that's when the end comes, is when it stops paying out every day. And I don't have an ETL. I really would like to get an ETL, but they're kind of expensive to run, and you have to have whatever 4 terabits of hard drive or something like that. So I can't do all the data analysis I've ever thought of doing and want to do, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm
until
sure
that
I'll
day comes.
do some silly data provision of something. I can't help myself.
Until that day comes, you will still
Yes.
be the people's reporter.
I'm trying. Thank you.
Okay, so wrapping this up, I guess one final question. Anything that we haven't really touched on, but that you really want to, express, give anybody a shout out, or even like an inside joke that, somebody may get that you want to point to?
I worried. I was like, wanted to shout out to the couple of people who I spend the most time with, but they already know I appreciate them. And if I shout out one, then someone's going to be upset that I didn't include them. And I like so many people. It's so fun to I like these people based on their typing, right? Isn't that kind of a funny thing? Like how they portray themselves with typing, which was neat to go to the Helium house and meet a lot of the people and put faces to and say, oh, yeah, you are a nice person, according to your writing. And then, of course, any inside jokes are usually at my expense. So I don't need to, they already harassed me enough for what I've done.
Gotcha, no problem.
But I do want to thank you for doing what you're doing, because this is so important. Your videos, guys, that you've put out have been so helpful, so fantastic in providing a record of what has been taught. And I love the summary that you guys are doing, and then you have the expertise to sort of explain each of the things and their sort of the reasoning behind each of those things. So thank you very much for doing these things.
Well, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it, and I think it's a very engaging process. For example, we look at Discord and we see, oh, people have pain points monitoring 5G, and then we came up with something on the Bobber app and the Bobber dashboard, and then I just throw it in there. I think within 5-10 minutes, and people say something is broken, something is wrong. There are a lot of people that are actually using it, like you and some other people, that they really react right away, and that I think really makes us feel that the efforts the effort has been seen and heard, and they're really using it. It's not like we're building something that nobody uses, and that's a very encouraging and a very positive cycle. And I think even some of the contests that we're doing recently, I threw in a link and said, oh, here's a contest, and immediately people come up and said, the link is wrong, something is not working. And these are really, really positive feedback, because it means that people are really using these things and watching this content. So I really appreciate it too.
Hey, you're doing a good job. Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, okay. I think that's all the questions I have for you today.
Awesome.
It's been really a pleasure talking to you, and
Thank
good
you so
luck with
much.
the laundromat.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Keith.
Thank you.
I'll
Bye-bye.
see you next time. Bye bye.